National Assembly proposes technological monitoring system and rapid response teams to enhance self-school. Federal government launches construction of second phase of Sokoto-Badagry superhighway. And Nigerian health workers declare immediate strike action over unmet demands.
If at the end of the 7 days warning strike, the federal government fails to meet our demands, Jehesu have no other option than to embark on an indefinite strike.
Hello and welcome to the news at 11 on Nta News24, reaching you live in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. My name is Justin Benwi. President Bola Tinubu led a large pack of dignitaries at the National Mosque for Jumat prayer, which also featured wedding fatir of a daughter of a former governor of Gombe State, Mohammed Danjuma Goje. State House correspondent Musbaden Ohab reports.
President Bola Tinubu, a special guest here, arrived into the hands of top politicians, including one of his opponents in the 2023 election, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. And this became a gathering of members of the political class, irrespective of their affiliations. Former and current presidents of the Senate, former and serving members of the National Assembly, former and sitting governors were present to honor one of them, Senator Mohammed Danjuma Goje, who handed one of his daughters out in marriage. Former Governor of Gombe State, Ibrahim Dankwambo, represented the bride's family in the multiple wedding fatiha. In the process, political divides were put aside as the current and past leaders charted a way with President Bola Tinubu as the rallying point. But then, in the translation of his sermon, Imam National Mosque Muhammad Kabir Adam reminded those in leadership positions about the supremacy of Allah as the most powerful, implored them on the virtue of humility and the need to lead their respective peoples with the fear of God. In Abuja, Musbah and Wahab, Nta News.
The National Assembly Joint Committee on Tertiary Education and TED Fund seeks alternative solutions to the energy and security challenges in Nigerian universities, polytechnics and colleges of education. At the stakeholders' engagement, legislators and other participants proposed implementation of a technology-enabled security and monitoring system and establishment of rapid response teams. They were also of the view that adoption of alternative energy will reduce the run costs, as these institutions now expend more than 30% of their budgets on electricity bills alone.
As of their overheads for the year to pay for electricity bill for just 1 month.
Without consistent power supply, we stifle the potentials for technological advancements. The implications are profound, affecting everything from basic instrumental method to the ability to conduct groundbreaking research that could contribute to our national development.
We are aware that in recent times, rival court groups have seized the opportunity of erratic power supply to turn our educational establishments into battlegrounds, while attacks on students by terrorist groups and bandits have been on the rise as a result of blackouts.
How do we really finance public education? Because 95% at least of the student population today in Nigeria are in public institutions.
The committee urged development partners to increase investment in the sector. And providing technical support to defense forces, ensuring all that is needed to effectively and efficiently protect the nation's territorial integrity is supplied is all the Nigerian Army Ordnance Corps is all about. And when these duties are religiously carried out, the feeling of satisfaction is palpable. Some retired Major Generals of the Corps charged officers to remain committed to their oath of allegiance. Nta News24 reports.
The Nigerian Army has time and time again reiterated its commitment to the protection of the nation's territorial integrity. And to sustain this trajectory, the Nigerian Army Ordnance Corps Chief of Logistics, Major General Tomilola Akintade, retired, charged the rank and file of the Army to sustain the successes recorded in the annals of the Corps.
They should be focused and be loyal to the federal government and to the president of the nation, and they should abide by the oath of allegiance that they took to defend the territorial integrity of Nigeria.
While recalling the challenges faced in ensuring adequate procurement, storage, distribution, inspection, maintenance, repair, and disposal of all items of ordnance-related equipment, the retired Major General charged officers still in office to uphold the tenets of the Corps without fear or favor. The occasion marked the formal disengagement of 5 Major Generals from the service of the Nigerian Army after 35 years of meritorious service. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
The second phase of the Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway in Gulumbe, Kebbi State will be a game changer for Nigeria's agricultural sector when completed. The project, set to span 1,000 kilometers, promises to revolutionize socio-economic growth across multiple states. Abdul Jalil Muhammad Bawa reports.
The 258-kilometer three-lane single carriageway, Section 2, is a key component of the 1,068-kilometer Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway Phase 2. Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, acknowledged the project's significance in boosting agriculture and socio-economic activities in Kebbi State and Nigeria as a whole.
This Sokoto-Badagry has 68 dams that will trigger off mega agricultural revolution within the corridor of this project. These dams is for irrigation. We are also going to have a lot of wind energy.
Mr. President and the Renewed Hope agenda he is leading have made it very clear that leadership is about vision, is about a greater vision for the future, not about today.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in a message delivered by Governor Nasir Idris, reaffirmed the current administration's commitment to constructing a comprehensive road network across the country, which aligns with the Renewed Hope agenda, focusing on road transformation.
We want to congratulate people of Kebbi State for taking lion's share of this project.
The Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway spans 7 states of Sokoto, Kebbi, Niger, Kwara, Oyo, Ogun, and Lagos states. In Birnin Kebbi, Abdul Jalil Muhammad Bawa, NTA News.
Now, countries across sub-Saharan Africa are navigating challenging reforms to achieve macroeconomic stability. While the International Monetary Fund, IMF, backs these efforts, it advises policymakers to balance macroeconomic goals with ensuring that reforms such as those in Nigeria remain socially and politically sustainable. Muplang Dakok reports.
Attention at the World Bank and IMF annual meetings today is on the continent. For Nigeria, the IMF welcomes the recent reforms of fuel subsidy removal and the Naira unification. However, it emphasizes that Nigerian government should use savings from the fuel subsidy removal to support the most vulnerable.
The immediate effect, of course, of doing these changes always causes quite a lot of dislocation. You've noted the inflation, and we have absolutely no doubt that conditions at the moment. I know there are some steps that are being taken in that direction, but I think really some of the savings from the fuel subsidy reforms, of the exchange rate subsidy being removed, should, in our view, be directed to helping cushion the effect on the most vulnerable households.
The IMF projects a growth of 3.6% for Africa in 2024, with a modification expected next year.
Economic growth in sub-Saharan Africa remains subdued, particularly in per capita terms. We're projecting growth this year of around 3.6%, the same as last year, with some signs that it is beginning to accelerate, and we're projecting that it will reach around 4.2% next year. This pace, needless to say, is not sufficient to reduce poverty or indeed to recover the lost ground in recent years. But as always, it's important to highlight the considerable differences in circumstances across the region. For example, 9 out of the 20 fastest growing economies are in sub-Saharan Africa, particularly those with more diversified structures, which are doing well.
The good thing is that Nigeria has not submitted any request to borrow from the IMF. From Washington, D.C., Muplang Dakok, Nta News.
The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority is urging airline passengers and other regulatory agencies involved in consumer-related issues within the sector to study and understand the authority's regulatory provisions on consumer protection to address the issues of compensation for missing luggage and the cancellation or delayed flights, as Aliu Kabir reports.
Within the aviation industry in Nigeria, issues of delayed flights, missing luggage and the refunds for tickets on cancelled flights have been the major concern of airline passengers, especially when they are left to wondering what their rights are. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority (NCAA) have been receiving complaints from the passengers in this regard, which the authority says most of the times passengers who forwarded such complaints do not understand the time frame within the NCAA regulatory framework and global aviation regulations. The Director, Public Relations and Consumer Protection of the NCAA, Michael Achumugu, says passengers must study Part 9 of the NCAA regulations to better be informed of their rights and responsibilities. Achumugu outlines that for delayed flights, passengers are entitled to a first needs of payment of 10,000 naira for domestic flights and $170 for international flights.
A lot of times the airline will not tell you are entitled to this compensation. But if you know your rights and you approach their desk and say, my luggage has not arrived, while I'm willing to wait for you to find my luggage, I'm entitled to first need, give me this amount, they'll take action.
He further clarifies that airlines have up to 7 days to search for a delayed baggage on domestic flights and 21 days for international flights, with a liability limit for a local flight amounting to $1,000 if baggage is confirmed missing, and 1,288 special drawing rights SDR compensation for international passengers. For ticket refunds, the director explains that it must be paid immediately if payment was made in cash, or to be paid within the maximum of 4 weeks if paid by bank transfer. He further urged travelers to always remain informed and strictly adhere to the aviation safety standards and regulations for a safer and effective service delivery. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, Nta News.
This is the news at 11 on Nta News 24. More reports after this break. Do stay with us.
my administration took over leadership of our country 16 months ago at a critical juncture. The economy faced many headwinds and our physical security highly impaired. We found ourselves at a distant crossroad where we must choose between two paths: reform for progress and prosperity, or carry on the business as usual and collapse. We decided to reform our political economy and defense architecture.
Now, the Joint Health Sector Workers Union, JOHESU, and the Health Professional Association, AHUA, have declared 7 days warning strike with immediate effect to drive home their unmet demands. Earlier made to the federal government, National Chairman of JOHESU, Kabiru Ado Minjibir, made the declaration after an expanded National Executive Council meeting of the affiliate unions held in Abuja. Joseph Oten reports.
It is another setback for the health sector in Nigeria. Again, the health workers are suspending services for 7 days, beginning with the federal health institutions.
From Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, MAUN, Nigerian Union of Allied Health Professionals, NUAP, Senior Staff Association of Universities, Teaching Hospitals, Research Institute and Associated Institutions, SouthRide, Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, shall embark on 7 days strike action. So let me, on behalf of
the workers say the industrial action premises earlier demands made to the federal government to improve healthcare delivery and condition of workers in the country. These include immediate implementation of consolidated medical salary structure adjustment and its 25% review arrears from June to December 2023. Among others is the immediate payment of 9 months' salary to staff of regulatory agencies and immediate restructuring of funding of Environmental Health Regulatory Council and upward review of retirement age of health workers.
However, if at the end of the 7 days warning strike, the federal government fails to meet our demands, JOHESU have no other option than to embark on an indefinite strike action.
The health workers had suspended the strike action they embarked on June 5, 2023, upon personal intervention of current President Bola Tinubu. Though they acknowledge that some good reforms have been made to improve healthcare delivery in the country, they feel implementation of most of their demands remains slow. In Abuja, Joseph Oten, NTA News.
Now, the promise by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to fulfill the commitment made by the previous administration to establish a UNESCO International Category 2 Media and Information Literacy Institute in Nigeria is being fulfilled. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris at a symposium to mark 2024 Global Media and Information Literacy Week in Abuja, assured of citizens' empowerment with relevant tools to navigate the dynamic information environment, as Saliu Abdullah Igwana reports.
Like other nations, Nigeria is conscious of the growing digital revolution and is demonstrating the political will to meeting global practices of inculcating moral values and laying fundamental skills to promote citizens' media literacy using the UNESCO Category 2 International Media and Information Literacy Institute in Nigeria.
It has become imperative and crucial that we empower our citizens with the tools they need to navigate this complex information environment, especially with the advent of artificial intelligence, which will make it more complex. Media and information literacy becomes essential in empowering individuals to critically assess the information they encounter, discern credible sources, and engage responsibly with media content. It is imperative that our schools, universities, and community as a whole prioritize media literacy programs, ensuring that our youth are equipped to thrive in this digital age.
To complement ongoing efforts, the minister wants content creators and social media influencers to prioritize the interests of the nation and uphold the highest ethical standards.
I want to say it to UNESCO and the world over that Nigeria is ready for the MIL. It is our conviction that given the level of commitment and interest shown by Mr. President and the entire team working on this project, we will indeed succeed. This institute, when it finally kicks off, will offer programs and courses that equip Nigerians, Africans, and people worldwide.
UNESCO representative in Nigeria acknowledges the country's leading role in implementing the global desire of a purposeful media ecosystem.
And really congratulations for Nigeria leading MIL here in Africa and beyond Africa.
Our shared goal is to emerge from these two engagements with greater clarity, strengthened partnerships, and a renewed commitment to promoting media and information literacy.
The symposium, with the theme Empowering Nigerians Through Digital Literacy, Navigating the New Media Frontiers for Inclusive Public Information, features presentation on the importance of media and information literacy, jointly organized by the International Media and Information Literacy Institute, the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, and the UNESCO Abuja office. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Now, coordinators of the Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project are engaging officers nationwide to advocate for the protection of women's rights while strengthening Nigeria's potential for growth in livestock farming. The national coordinator of the project, Sanusi Abubakar, is optimistic that issues in selected value chains will be addressed. Garba Natala reports.
The two-day workshop seeks to highlight the peculiar circumstances women are facing in the agricultural sector and advocates for their rights and freedom from all forms of gender-based violence. The training aims to build upon the knowledge and expertise of officers drawn from 21 states across the country.
30% of our beneficiaries, that is the expected direct beneficiaries, 1.43 million, should be women. So it's very critical to us, and we know the role women are playing in the agri sector, especially the livestock sector. We have been supporting women from the equipment, input, training, good animal hygiene, good milk hygiene collection.
Facilitators believe agriculture, being a tool of local economic growth, will support livelihoods in the communities these participants are serving.
Communities themselves will be the people that will drive this process forward, because when people are not there, when there are issues of GVP, what happens? And then there is also need for us to also have what we call support for sexual assault referral centers.
What they do at the health facility is to examine the survival and give proper medication, psychological assistance, and also legal assistance happen there, because we have lawyers, we have police, we have counselors that will counsel the survivor on what to do next.
Like when I was young, we discovered that most of these people that are into livestock, they are women. They do it for passion, not even for commercial purpose alone. They do it for passion. You see so many houses, they are rearing either birds, goats, and they know how to do these things.
When these women are mainstream and empowered, they will also help the family and help the men to achieve their purpose.
To make their impact felt, the Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project, LPRES, adopted gender mainstreaming in addressing gender inequalities, an inclusive approach that integrates women, men and youths as beneficiaries. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Atala, Nta News.
That concludes the news at 11 on Nta News 24. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Justin Bemu. You do have a wonderful night rest.